America, the United States of America, Murica, the home of the Americas. I've already said the word too many times and it's starting to sound weird in my brain.
Tartlets. 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 Word has lost all meaning.
Having visited this fine land on several occasions and received sunburn on most of those occasions and actually passed out with heatstroke like a complete nonce whilst using a vending machine on one occasion, I feel a vague attachment to the country. The sort of attachment a dog has with another dog's anus, but in the good, sexy way. This has started really badly. It's like a continent and a movie series and a novel all in one racially charged place. A place for wild music, movies, gunfights, cops executing people, red hats, people on TV who make exaggerated hand gestures for some reason. There are things about the US that appear familiar to Scottish people, like the corpulent shambles that wear leggings and go to McDonald's, for instance, but also things that seem strange and confusing, like an entire state made out of cowboy hats, or the fact that cars can turn right when the pedestrian green man is on, or that large, muscular, sweaty and vascular men put on swimming trunks and engage in the savage ballet of professional pain delivery, and yet everyone who watches this obviously homoerotic fest of maleness calls everyone else faggots. What the fuck, America? If I went there again, I would have so many questions for the Chad Chaddersons and the Brock Landers and the Donovan Washingtons and the Shaniqua Beyonce Jamal Johnstons. I'm not racist. Like, why do your hamburgers start at sizes that would be big sizes for everyone else? Why do you love Israel so much? Why do you all drive pickup trucks when you ain't picking up shit? And why are they all automatics? Don't you like holding a hard shaft between your fingers, you gay motherfuckers? Why do you like so many awful sports? Why do you keep making Transformers movies? Why is Alex Jones not the supreme, undisputed emperor of America? Why are Kansas and Arkansas pronounced differently? Why did you pick Clinton and Trump as your presidential candidates? They are both just horrible. One, an abominable, wrinkly, flat, dried up baboon breast that has been re-sewn onto a cancer survivor's chest and has donkey hairs glued onto it. And the other is a nightmarish, ghoulish creation of a necromancer who cast a spell to reanimate 1,000 scrotums plucked from a Turkish grave and sprinkled with cinnamon shavings. Here in the UK, the last British election was mostly between a haggard old skeleton with a wig and a communist who wears tweed, and this sexual tyrannosaurus. Live in the now, America. Also, how can America be the place that created Big L and Nas and Tupac and Ice Cube, and also be the place that allows Drake to exist, the godless, jumper-obsessed freak? Why do you have like 1 million special military type units, the SEALs, the Rangers, the Marines, the Green Berets, the Delta Force, those guys from Starship Troopers, the Fast Guys, and so many others, yet when you actually go to war, you tend to adopt tactics more akin to a child smashing an anthill with the fat end of a shoe. You have a car culture like we do here, but the American one tends to revolve around buying some piece of shit Japanese go-kart and personally building it into that tank from Thundercats. I don't mean to belittle or demean your hobby as a fellow driver, or your passion for working with your hands and all that, but if you have the money to do that, why don't you just buy a better car? Anyway, the United States always seems almost movie-esque to me as a place. I mean, just imagine, say, Hulk Hogan and Optimus Prime going to Subway for a sandwich, or Rambo and Commando putting on stringed vests and lifting weights and staring into each other's eyes with the love that dare not speak its name, because everyone in better shape than me is gay. It's a magical land where everyone appears to have their own swimming pool every time I fly there, and TV shows about poor working class families tend to have them living in 3-story houses where they have 2 cars. What? A strange and stupefying land where people can be elected to office based directly on their views on abortion. I mean, what the fuck, bro? What some chick puts in or takes out of her clown pocket is actual campaign material in America. If anyone tried that uncomfortable sandwich of shit and shame over here, they would be laughed off the streets and into the nearest junkie-filled hostel to inject their eyeballs with a solution made out of paper glue and those tiny little hairs you get on the upper lips of old women. If that sounds like a childlike exaggeration from the fevered mind of a small dick having motherfucker with no friends, then you're motherfucking right, but that's besides the point. One of those many Americanisms that makes no sense to the rest of the world, like having earthquake buddies in the same country that allows you to buy towels, Lego sets, the awful version of UK sweets, and guns in the same store, which I actually approve of, by the way. Finally, I'd also like to know why so many of you hate socialism and yet you love the military, which is a public service for all, which is entirely funded by the taxpayer. Hello? If I were an American man, firstly, I would make sure I was white because that seems really important. They say it's a melting pot over there, but when the fuck was a melting pot ever considered a good thing? Pots are specifically designed not to melt. Am I right? Right? Anyone? Anyone? Then I'd have to choose some place to live. Not New York. Apart from the fact that every alien invasion seems to attack there first, I'd also need to deal with all those pretend Italians talking about breaking my balls over here. Georgia is out, not just because of the violent anal insertion risk if I ever take a stroll down the local river, but because I don't want to be invaded by Russia. Haha, a joke. San Fran seems a bit obvious because I'm European and I suck dick like a horny crackhead, but I do hear that it's quite expensive, even for normal drinks, let alone gorilla blood scooped into the hollowed out skull of an orphaned immigrant. It can't be any of the states that look like squares because they are obviously fake. I'm concerned actually that I may be too white for LA because I'm proper pasty Scottish see-through white and not like an American white. But I do kind of like the way that US cities just kind of merge together in weird shapes like on Google Maps, as if the people who designed the city layouts were ingesting psychotropic drugs in the manner of a dog ingesting bits of pizza that they find lying in the street next to a discarded nappy or diaper. Somewhere near alligators and shit, but not like right next door would be okay. Florida has great weather, but it kind of looks like a dong, and my indescribable loathing for pensioners and racial harmony might be tested living there. I'm sure I'll end up living in some fun place like a secluded mountain community amongst patriots that follow the true constitution. Good solid bunch of lads. I do sometimes like the fun way that Americans talk. It's kind of like the way English people talk, if English people ever actually had sex. You can't just say, what? You say, come again, friend? It's not just evidence you're looking for, it's a smoking gun. It's not just trying to end the war, it's let's eradicate Japan from the earth as if Zeus himself, king of the gods, has smote the incestuous enemy from our sights, and so on and so forth. Although the way y'all say repeat really grinds my balls. Like, I will repeat as champion rather than the infinitely more sensible, I will repeat my success or I will regain my championship. You also say things like I placed second rather than I finished second or came in second, or literally any of the more correct ways of explaining that you did not win something. Saying I could care less, that needs to end immediately. You are literally saying the opposite of what you're trying to say. The guys who work in movie trailers need to be beaten up and put in prison, and then the prison needs to be set on fire, and then the fire needs to be scooped up and cast into the Phantom Zone. Saying, my bad, isn't funny. Coming through, that isn't funny either. Thankfully, your clownish manner of speaking is saved by black people, once again showing us all their genetic, visual and sexual superiority. Not necessarily just ebonics as such, but I've always loved the way that black guys in films call each other baby, as you can probably tell because I say it myself, and it works for them really well. However, if I call someone in Glasgow baby, he better be an actual fucking baby, or I'm going to be getting someone's car keys jammed in my eyeballs and my teeth scattered across the local wooded area. As much as I love the gigantic hamburgers, the huge cups of coke, the buffet breakfasts, the loud muscle cars, the great weather, the endless TV options, Max Rebo, the greatest character on all of Star Wars, the theme parks, the gigantic fake titties, those big trains with the open doors that you climb on to evade the local sheriff during adventures. I just don't know if I could actually live there. I mean, paying for healthcare? Fuck no, baby. Seriously though, Heatstroke was very confusing. I was at a shopping centre, or a mall as you call it. I kind of knew I was going to pass out, so I went to the vending machine to get like a Diet Coke, but the machine wouldn't take my money, so then I tried water and it did take my money. As soon as I took a sip though, I made a Homer Simpson kind of sound, and I lost motor function, but I oddly retained consciousness as I fell to the floor in an awkward heap, and water dribbled down my face, and I lay there for several moments before some friendly chap came over and said, "You alright there, buddy?" Then a very lovely lady came over and knelt down next to me, and she held my hand. It was a very nice moment, except for the fact that I was releasing fluids everywhere, and not just from my mouth, sadly.